This is the Be the Solution podcast, and I'm your host, Maria Quattrone. And today I have a return guest on, Janis Benstock with Settle Down Philadelphia, JBREA Academy. And today we are going to talk about mindset. So I'm excited to have Janis on. Janis is a friend of mine, and we've been both in the industry. Basically, we entered at the same time. So we've both been in the industry for 21 years here in Philadelphia real estate. And Janis, today I have a quote specifically for you.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do. And this is the quote: If you can dream it, you can do it. And that was by Walt Disney. So if you can dream it, you can do it. And that is the quote that I specifically picked for you this morning. And it resonated with me for you because we have a lot of the same things that we think about life, and thoughts become things. An idea becomes something. It starts with a thought. And so with that, welcome, Janis.
Hello. Thank you.
Good morning. So what do you think? If you can dream it.
Oh, I live quote. I absolutely live by that quote. That's how I started my school. I literally was out for a run and decided maybe I should look into starting my own school. And by the time I got home, very shortly after, because I'm not a big runner, my laptop was sitting on my dining room table. And as I was walking in the door, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have my assistant check on what it takes to open a school today. And then I saw my laptop and I said, oh, I'll do it myself. And within 30 seconds, everything has started falling into place. And literally 34 days later, my school was open, which I can't even believe the record speed at what had happened. Every single thing fell into line. And it was because I had a thought. It's quantum physics. It's law of attraction. It's just the universe. And absolutely that happens. And that's the key to mindset.
It is the key to mindset. It really is. It's like, I get back to, like, I love quotes, and I don't know why I do, but I do. And one of the favorite ones I also have is Henry Ford: whether you think you can or think you can't, either way, you are right. And it's the belief that comes from the idea. Maybe we don't know how we're going to do it. Doesn't really matter. It's the belief that we want to do it and that we can figure it out. Everything's figure outable, right? Marie Forleo, she's a
I
great
love that book.
yeah, she's a great inspiration. Has a very successful online business, very successful with her B school. And mainly that's for like creative types of people. But she talks about that all the time, that, everything is figure outable.
Yep.
We can figure it out. Or we can sit in the victim mentality of excuses. And I am not one for that. Anything about me, that is a no in this office, that we can't make excuses. And we either have results and progress, or we have excuses. So making that decision each and every day, how you're going to show up. And I think, Janice, one of the things that I love about you is that you just like, I'm doing it. And you
Yeah.
said that to me a few months ago. We were sitting in the Philadelphia library downstairs, which I never even knew they had downstairs. So thank you
I
for
know. It is so cool there.
the Philadelphia library, the big one over on Spring Garden Street. I go that way because it's north of here.
Right.
And we talked about, what's the next thing. And yours was like, I'm going to recruit agents and start this cohort of people and attract them, to your real estate company. And so it's not like you didn't do it before, but it was a different way that you were going to execute this time. And the thing is, we've tried this, we try that. And as long as we don't give up and we keep trying, because I think that's really what it comes down to, like never giving up.
Right.
Because you could just
But
be like, oh,
yeah,
okay, it didn't work, so I'm not going to do it anymore.
yeah. But there's something also that shifted that was different. So first of all, I have the most amazing cohort of, they're all women except for we have one man. It just so happened that way. So I say a cohort of women, but there is one man there. So Quasir, this is just a shout out to you. But it's this amazing cohort of people, of agents. And when you said the key word for me was attract, because even though I believe in Marie Forleo's everything is figure outable, I love that. What she stresses though mostly is the doing energy, the masculine energy, and that's important. But for me, I find the most success when I let my feminine energy side, the receiving side come in, the allowing side. And so there has to be a balance of both. We all have a balance of both. It's not about men and women, it's about everybody has a balance of both energies. And I used to focus mostly on the masculine energy, thinking I had to wake up every day and do. I was very hardcore. In fact, I had a LLC at one point, it's still there, called IGSD LLC, standing for I Get Shit Done LLC, because I was so into like get up, go, go, go. And over the last 6 or so years, I've really started to allow the feminine energy side, the receiving side. And that's what's different about this cohort that I have. You say I tried it before, I did. But all the times I tried it before, it was from the masculine energy side of like trying so hard to do this, to do this. But that day when I sat in the library with you, which was an amazing experience, we should do something like that again. Something shifted in me because I put it out into the universe that this is something that I really desired. And then everything just fell into place. And I didn't even try. It was like I literally woke up one day and had an idea while I was getting ready for class, mentioned the idea in class, and within 4 days, I had a whole boot camp set up with 11 women signed up, and not one of them has dropped out. They've all gone through it. They're all getting their licenses now and starting to get deals. It's amazing. And it's the coolest group of people.
Hmm. What exactly happened? What changed?
What changed was when you said you don't know how it's going to happen, it just happens. That's the allowing side. That's the receiving side. That's your vibration. And something changed in my vibration where instead of trying so hard, and I'm not saying don't do, we have to take inspired action to make things happen. We can't just sit there and expect things to happen, but it's inspired action versus I'm going to keep trying, basically throwing enough crap against the wall until something sticks. That's what I was doing in the past. But this time was different. My vibration changed, and I actually had this desire where it wasn't just for me, it was for something bigger than me. It was something greater than just me and I wanted to get done. It was for a connection, it was for an attraction. And there's a saying, and I tend to shy away from the word God. I use universe or spirit, but there's this quote that I love, and it has God in it, and I use it anyway. And it says, God isn't finished writing your story, stop trying to grab the pen. And I was like, there you go. I love that because that's exactly what I was trying to do before, is grab the pen and say, it has to happen this way. I have to do this. And it was coming from a place of fear and scarcity and lack. And that is what I see in so many people, especially new agents, which is what I specialize in, because they're usually coming from a place of transition. And a lot of times people enter the business because they need financial freedom, they need time freedom, and they're feeling in a place where they're desperate. And that feeling of desperation, that feeling of lack, of scarcity, that changes your vibration, and that attracts more lack, more scarcity, more desperation. And so that's the place that I was coming from before. And when I came from a different place of abundance, of like, we have this amazing thing, and I want to create this amazing thing for me, for them, for all of us, it just literally downloaded. I had an idea. I remember I was standing there getting ready for class, and all of a sudden I just had an idea, and it was probably 20 minutes before class started. By the time class started, I had already figured it out, and I told people about it, and they were in.
That was a lot.
It's a lot, but that's what happens when you start allowing.
Right. Do you know this woman? Her name is Kathleen Cameron.
No,
You know Bob Proctor.
I've heard of Bob Proctor. I think I read one of his books. What did he write?
Oh,
What was his?
I have a book. Wait, I think I have it right here, actually. So I'm rereading it. Is it here? Is it here?
Bob Proctor. He's one of the famous ones. It's like I forget. I'm gonna Google him so we can edit this.
Wait.
Bob Proctor. Anyway, what about Bob Proctor?
Well, he talks about exactly what you're talking about. He's died now, but
Oh, he was in The Secret, and what did he write? Anyway,
I have the book. I don't know where it is.
oh, he's talking about law of attraction. Yeah. I read a lot. I don't know that I've read his. I read Wayne Dyer. I read Joe
Well,
Dispenza.
he's Wayne Dwyer. He is, I am whatever. I am confident. I am loved. I am special. I am unique. There's only one you. There's only one me. And so we have unique talent. And the message that's received is received differently from different people. So you need, I always say that everybody has something to teach and to learn and to obviously learn, but everybody has something that they can teach other people where they are today. So there's tons of people out there right now who need your message, who need
Yeah.
my message.
Yeah. And we have to trust that the right people are going to find it. That's why I post on social media. If one person shows up, if 100 people show up, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I just trust that the right people are going to find the message. And if it's not the right person and not the right message, they're just going to not see it or scroll right by. And that's totally fine. And that's how I feel about my business too. That's why I'm more in the allowing than I am not. Like, you and I are so different the way we're similar in a lot of ways, but we're so different in the way we run our businesses. If I worked with you, I would drive you insane. You would be like, what are you doing? Why are you on the phone making calls? And I'm like, just chill. It'll come. And it always does. So
Wow. I think that, sometimes it's the yin and the yang, right? That when you meld them perfectly together, you get something amazing that happens. And I think you need both. I mean, I definitely have more of the masculine energy than the feminine. However, I have been over the last, I'd say year-ish, a little more, focusing on more of the feminine and kind of like let be. I'll give an example. I was always present for my sales meetings, always. And it's like, I don't really need to be present in person. I can be present on Zoom. And in fact, it's actually better because the message is delivered better. Now you have everybody who has to sit and watch versus, you know, it's different in a good way because I actually can teach,
right.
right? If you have a group of people that are like watching you, like I'm in my office, so here's the TV on the wall here,
Right.
right? It's like yay big. I don't know how big it is, but pretty big. Big enough this my big face is on there. Everybody's watching it on the TV versus
So you have them come in, but you're on Zoom.
yeah.
Oh, I like that. I thought everybody was on Zoom.
No. Everybody's here.
That's good.
Everybody's present in the room together. And I am on Zoom.
That's great. And that's more efficient for your time as well.
It's more efficient, but I also think that the message is delivered differently because I actually have to be completely orchestrated, right? Like I have to be a little bit more, I want to say prepared because I'm always prepared, but like literally I'm watching my time because our meetings are 1 hour. We start on time and end on time. Purposely. Like at noon it starts and at 12:59 it ends. And that's to be so everybody understands the value of time. I'm not going to go over the time that I set and we're going to start when it starts. We're not waiting for anybody, and I think it sets a tone though for the expectation of time. Their time, my time, client's time is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're constantly running around and you're late, I mean, that sets a whole different tone than if you're showing up and you're like, okay, sitting in my car waiting for my client. So I go in, ever the lights are on. I sit there and now, I'm sitting on some stage furniture, relaxed, waiting for them. You show up differently.
Yep.
So, mindset is, I think, 90% of it, and the actions are 10%. And yes, I do believe in making calls, but
I know you do. I loved your challenge that you
oh
did. That
God,
was amazing.
these things are still rolling in.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, the thing is everybody builds their business differently, and that's my jam is that I started in this business and you were close, but I've actually been in the business closer to 30 years. It'll be 30 in
oh,
November. It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing. It just means I've been around a long time. It doesn't, whatever. But when I started in this business, there was no internet. There was like, I went uphill to school barefoot in the snow both ways, like that jam. But no one, no one validated how I wanted to run my business. I was told to, get on the phone and make calls, and that never ever sat right with me. It's just not my thing. I've never done it. I probably never will do it. It works for some people, it doesn't work for me. So I had to kind of struggle to figure out my own way to build my business. And I started building it organically, but I didn't start calling it organic or paying attention to how I did. I just did it and it was working. And I remember my sales manager a long time ago telling me to make calls, and I kept saying I would do it, but then I would choke. I couldn't pick up the phone and cold call. And so he was giving me a hard time about it, but I had deals in the pipeline. And he's like, how did you get them? And I told him, he's like, you can't do it that way. I said, what do you mean? It's working. Like I'm talking to people, I'm doing my thing. And so what my business has really evolved into over the years, now as a broker and owning the school, is allowing and empowering agents to realize that they can build their business their own way. They could build, you build it, I build it, they could build it any shade in between or something new that hasn't even been created yet. And that's what's really important to me is not how you build your business, but how you allow yourself to build your business and how to live your life. And to me, that's what mindset is all about. And what you said earlier, everything begins with a thought, is dead on because thoughts become things. That's it. If you think it already exists. Now you just have to wait for it to manifest.
exactly. You have to wait for it to manifest. So, one of the things that I do when I am making my calls, which is my calls are follow up calls. These are people that already called this office,
Mm-hmm.
raised their hand that they wanted to sell something. They just didn't do it then. So it's a follow up. But what I do is I assume they're going to be listing. I assume that I am sending them a listing contract. I, begin with the end in mind is the assumption that they are going to work with our firm.
Love
So
that.
it's not like, desperateness or it's just like, are you ready? If you're ready, great. We're moving forward.
Right. And that's very different as a follow up call than a cold call. But the
Yeah, we
thing
don't
is, a
make,
lot of, yeah, but a lot of agents don't have all of those people calling them or calling their office. And so they have to resort to making cold calls. And I know that works for some people. But like for me, for example, if anyone calls me on a cold call, I immediately politely tell them I don't do cold calls. I just have zero desire to listen to any cold call. And that might be a little bit harsh, but it just doesn't jam with me. I want to talk to people relationships. And so what do the people do that, how did you get all those people calling your office is the key because a lot of agents don't have that happening.
yeah, well, this is a long time in the making. And, I have 50 plus thousand people in the database that at one point in
How'd you
time
get them?
from listings.
Right. And how'd you get the listings? Right. Because which comes first, the
So
chicken or the
there's
egg?
a variety of ways networking, my reputation. Back in the day, like a long time ago, calling expireds,
There you go.
you
That's
know,
something that new agents can
marketing,
let.
Google, marketing mailers. So a lot of people, it's the attraction of the business. So I know people think like, oh, it's just like I'm calling like circle prospecting around like a listing. No, we don't do that. We have so many people to call because they have reached out at some juncture or and past clients that
Right.
repeat investor business, right? So there's so much opportunity that's there. I know many people don't have that, but this is what I've been able to build over the last
Right.
20 years. And so there's many people already for the new agents to like come in and call. So if they're already gotten like, for years marketing things for me, oh, Motivation Monday,
Right.
like a happy message of like inspiration or aspiration. It's not a lot of it isn't even real estate stuff I send out.
Right.
So they get to know the brand. And so then when the call is made, it's like an easier call than like, of course, some people are like, yes, but most people are like,
Right.
oh,
Those calls I could definitely make. That's a warm call. That's calling somebody that's in my database or my past client or past inquiry. It's the cold calls that I don't do. But the key is like what you said, it's from 21 years. And so what I deal with mostly is new agents. That's just what I attract, partially because of my students and partially it's just what I attract is new agents. And I love working with new agents, but they need to get started. It's like this ball of yarn and you can't find the beginning of the thread to like pull and start knitting your sweater. That's what they need. That's what they need help with, because you did it, right? You did it. You found that beginning. You found that end. You started. And I know you came from sales, but in real estate, you started from nothing and look what you've built. Right. And now you're in this position where yes, the follow up and yes, the calls, and it makes a lot more sense, or I shouldn't say sense, it resonates with me more that you're following up with people. But what about the new agents that are out there? They don't even know how. I know plenty of agents. If they had a database of 50,000 plus people, they would be on the phone 12 hours a day.
well, lots of business out there. It's a matter of, how you want to do it. But I do, I always say like to new agents, we have new agents here. And I said, every settlement started with a conversation. So you need to have conversations with people. I don't care how you have them, but the more you can have, the quicker you're going to get momentum. And the cadence I look at is like 20 conversations a day. I know that might seem like a lot, but to build that business and have like 2 transactions a month, if you do 20 conversations a day with people that, maybe at one point raise their hand, you have a greater propensity to make it. And it's hard to make it these days, so it's a matter of you can do networking, you can do calling, you can do door knocking, you could do all kinds of things. Social media. The thing is with social media, though, it can work after you have a little bit of success. People want to see that you're actually doing something first,
Right. And
Deals.
I think with social media, they also want to see, or at least I'll speak for me, what I want to see on social media, because when I see the just listed or just closed posts, I just scroll right past them. What I want to see is relationship, personality, story. It's the agents that have a story or that show who they are, and they do real estate that catch my attention. Like that's the side that I veer more towards. And
Yeah,
that's something I see some
I
agents
agree.
struggling with. Yeah, we talk about that. We actually did a broker class, social media for brokers. It was a 30-hour class, and we went over a lot of that stuff in there and it was amazing because one student who's a friend of yours, who you know who it is, she went through her social media and she was like, oh my God, my Instagram is all just listed. And there were no pictures of her. There was nothing about her. And so we did a lot of workshopping in that class, and she has been doing some work about putting her own personality into it. And that's the thing, is it all comes down to relationships. You're talking about 20 conversations a day. It's like, what are you talking about? You're talking about things that create relationships. You're building the know, like, and trust factor. And the great
100%.
yeah. And the great
I
thing
always
is it doesn't have to be a conversation about real estate, because every single person is a potential client. Everybody needs a place to live.
Everybody needs a place to live. And I know more about the people that I call and their families, where they go on vacation, where they're going this year, who graduated from college.
You remind me of the that scene in Erin Brockovich, the one when Julie Roberts is standing there and the lawyer says to her, like, you don't have files, and she's like, ask me. Do you know which scene I'm talking about? And she's
No.
like, oh my God, you have to watch it. I'll find the clip and send it to you. So did you see the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so Julie Roberts is standing there like with her low cut, whatever, and there's this attorney all dressed with her hair pulled back in a bun, perfect lips, and she's like, "Your files are a mess." And Julie Roberts says, or Aaron Brockovich is like, "Ask me anything." And she's like, "You can't possibly remember 600 phone numbers." And she goes, "Johnny Maysu, born in this," and then she starts reading off all these stats. Had this surgery, likes to swim, does this, and she goes, it's like the best. And that would be you.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to send that to you the next time it comes across my feed.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
tag you. Mhm.
You have, and that's the thing. It's like people always ask me, well, what do you say to people? And what's your script? I'm like, well,
Script.
there's certain things that you need to ask people if
Mhm.
they're buying or if they're selling. There are different questions, obviously. I said, but the most important question is people want to know is about them. People want to be heard. There's like 7% that are drivers that just want you to get to the point, but the rest of them want to be heard. And so it's developing that relationship and rapport with somebody. I had a closing this year. I showed Miss Bonnie. I had my computer with me when I went to her house. Point Breeze, Federal Street, 2300 something. Anyway, I said, Miss Bonnie, do you know how many times we spoke on the phone over the last 5 years? She said, no. I said, well, I called you 121 times.
Oh my God.
I just listed a property on Fairmount, not Fairmount, in Fairmount on Meredith, Lois. We called Lois in the last maybe 6 months, 39 times.
Oh my gosh.
Because you don't get the people on the phone, so you just dial in on answer. You don't
Right.
always leave a message. Depend on the person. This lady, she's 82. I'm not leaving her a message every time I call.
Right.
I'm going to catch her when I catch her. She's
Right.
like busy. She's winding down her business at 82. God bless her. A little whippersnapper.
Right.
But the point is like all about developing that relationship with people. And when they're ready, they're ready. And sometimes I'll say, look, I don't want to be a pain in the ass. So, you know, can you just tell me when I should call you back? Because I'll touch base with you then. Well, we're not going to do anything, Maria, till 2026, probably the spring. Cool. I'll touch base with you in the fall around the holiday time. Let's see how you're doing. Wish you a happy holiday. I'll talk to you then. Have a great summer. Have a great fourth. You know? And
See, a
then
lot of
people,
people are nervous to make these calls, but what you're saying resonates because two things. One, what you're saying is my thought of sales as service, sales as problem solving, right? When you approach it in the way that you're there to help them, you're there to listen, ask questions, listen, see what they need, and come up with a solution, be the solution, right? Use the tools in your tool belt. And sometimes it's listing their property. Sometimes it's telling them to get a fill loan so that they can fix the leaky roof and they don't have to move, right? So when you approach it as sales as service, sales as problem solving, it's easier to pick up the phone because you're not coming with that salesy, pushy vibe. And the other thing is, which people don't really talk about that much or talk about enough, is what do we get from the relationship? What do we get from those conversations? Because those conversations light me up. I just talked to one of my past clients the other day. We're getting ready to list their house in the fall, and they moved out to the suburbs and they're renting out their house. And I had a 20-minute conversation with her about gardening and cleaning out the pool and how different it is. And it was just such a great conversation. And we don't talk about that enough. And I think that would, agents paid attention to that, about how fulfilling it is, not just to get the sale, they would be more apt to get on the phone and make those calls.
yeah, it's the developing of the relationship over time. So when they are ready, you're the person that they call hands down.
Right.
And if you did not, and here's the thing, and I don't get every single one, right? If you, in the meantime, provide value, right? Provide inspiration, aspiration, be a real person. Nobody wants to hear, a recited script.
Nobody.
Nobody at any given time.
And who would want to be the person making those calls? That's what I'm saying. It's not just about the deal. It's like when we pick up the phone or bump into somebody or talk to somebody that's the cashier at the pharmacy, and we start, I'm genuinely interested in people. I'm going to tell you a quick story because this is exactly what I love about this business and this life. I was in an Uber months ago, and the funny thing is I hardly ever take Ubers. I ride my bike everywhere, but this day I forget why I had to take an Uber, and I took an Uber. I get in the Uber and I start talking to the driver, and it turns out it was like a Wednesday, it was like a Friday, and I had a new pre-licensure class starting on Monday. We started talking. And the next thing you know, she tells me she wants to get her real estate license. Do you know she was signed up and in my class by Monday, and she's signed up with my agency, and she's one of my, like, it turned into that from a conversation with an Uber driver.
I 100% believe it.
It's the most amazing thing. And that's, to me, that is the art of allowing, because when you put it out there that you're just genuinely interested in people and you just want to talk and you want to connect, magic happens. And I didn't have to advertise for her to come through my school. I didn't, it's just the relationship thing.
It's just a relationship thing. 100%. It always comes down to that, and I think today it's even more important to have those strong relationships, whether it's, partners, whether it's colleagues in the industry, it's just internally in your office. And the world's going a little bit nuts.
I just don't look. I can't even.
They're going,
I'm
well,
going to
no,
bubble down the shore.
well, the bubble is not here. So, even just clients, people are, why is my house not sold? Well, because houses don't sell in 5 minutes. That's why.
Right.
Houses
Right.
take 4 months to sell. We're in pretty much an even market now. So, in most markets, in Philadelphia metro market, we're pretty much in an even, except for some small pockets, like up on the main line. But for the most part, we're pretty much in an even market. So it's does take longer. And I think that, also telling people upfront the expectation of like the future pace, and an agent, look, you're not going to learn this business in 6 months or a year. It's like a 4 year, like you're going to college
Right. I'm still learning. I always learn something new every day.
every day, every day. So you have your real estate school is rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Well, we're on summer break. I took, and I am so glad I did this. And I missed out on some connections with potential students who wanted to take summer class, but I really needed a reset. I really needed to just sort of take some space and build some things and put my house back together and put my life back together. And next class, I don't teach again until October.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I took the whole entire class. Bless you, except for CE. I'm doing a few CE classes for GPAR. I have a couple. I just added some CE classes, but I think the first CE class I'm starting is in September. So I took the whole summer off. Which is
Awesome.
amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Good for you. And
Thank
your
you.
cohort, you have a 10, 11 in there?
Yeah, they're like 11.
And
It's
so
so
how does that
incredible.
work? They're in real estate school or they're in training?
So all of them have finished school, and a few of them have passed their state exam and become licensed, and the rest are in the process of passing the exam. And they're all signing up with Settle Down. So we've been doing a lot of training, company events. We did a big photo shoot the other day for our website. So as soon as their license comes in, they'll go on the website. So we did a reunion. It's just the greatest group of people. So we're doing that, and they all work together. And I hired or brought on Anastasia Dewan. I don't know if you know her, but she came on and she's going to be working with them as the head of agent success. So it's the two of us, and she's going to be the day to day. And we're just building something really amazing. It's it's just magic when you see how this group, I don't even know where they came from. And their stories are always like, oh, I was going to wait to start school, but then I clicked on something, and they ended up in the right place at the right time. And now it's just this amazing group that's so cohesive. I've never had such an amazing group before. It's incredible.
It's all about what we attract.
All about what we attract. That's it.
That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. So real estate's still a good career, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what the market is. If you
That's
approach
right.
it as a people business, if we're not in the business of houses, we're in the business of people. And if you approach it as a people business, you're always going to be fine. Always.
There is a ton of business out there. In fact, most people are not willing to do the work that we were always willing to do. And, I'd say the market over the last 10 years was very different than the market 10 years before that, 20 years before that. So you get into a different cadence and you have to adjust. So for us, it's the same thing. I like routine. I'm a routine kind of person. So, you know, that's why like getting out of my routine, as I was telling you, has been good for me. Stepping out of like the same thing I do and taking a little bit of a different approach feels it's good.
Yeah.
Although which sounds weird, right? Like, but I think that that's when you do things that are different and uncomfortable for you, that's when you can like expand.
Yeah, it shifts because it shifts your mindset. And if you go back to the beginning, which is thoughts become things, how can you have new thoughts if you're doing the same thing every day? One of my best, quickest secrets to making stuff happen is to declutter one shelf or drawer. Because when you do something like that, that's why I love this magic of watching my house come back together and putting this kitchen in, right? I'm living in chaos. I'm washing dishes in my bathtub. I'm sitting at my dining room table, which is pushed up against the wall. My house is filthy. There's a worker I love him to death in my kitchen right now next to me, finishing up things. But I love it because every minute that I watch something happen, it shifts my mindset. It changes things for me and new thoughts come in. If I walked in one day and it was just completely done, then it's like it hits you all at once and it's great, but then that becomes your new normal. Whereas constantly changing, and I'm someone who doesn't like routine at all. I like to be constant. I feel very stagnant and flat. It makes me almost feel toxic when I'm in too much of a routine, like Groundhog Day. I'm the opposite. And that's where new ideas come in. If you're feeling stuck, literally go declutter one drawer. You declutter one drawer, and all of a sudden, the whole world will open up. Your brain will shift, and new ideas will start to come like that. And then you'll declutter another drawer and another. And the next thing you know, you're doing a closet.
That's great. I always get my best ideas in the shower.
Absolutely. It's because you're not thinking. It's like a meditative state. Anytime that
And
you can empty your brain and meditate, the best ideas
my
come.
bike, my best friend at the beach is my
And
bike.
in the city. Do you ride in the city?
I do not. I'm
Okay.
scared.
I don't blame you. It's scary. I do it anyway, but
I'm
to me,
scared. And
to
like, I
me,
don't like to put the helmet on and stuff in the city because, I got this hair and
right. I put the helmet on in the city, and for me, riding is better than looking for parking. So I'd rather and sitting in traffic. But anyway, I get it. And the bike is a perfect place. Sometimes I just go on bike rides and meander and let my mind wander.
it's all about the thoughts become things. And that's how we expand.
Like,
Expand. This has been a great episode today with you, Janice.
I love chatting with you every time.
Yes, awesome. And congratulations on your continued success
And
with
you as
your,
well.
thank you, with your real estate company and your school. And we'll have to check in with you later in the year to see how that cohort that's already up and running is doing.
You'll be seeing them at the settlement table, so you'll know. They're
Oh,
amazing. They're on fire. These are incredible.
I
You'll see them
love
in
it. I love it. And your
me too.
energy is inspiring. So thank you. Mwah.
Have a great
Day.
thanks.